Police Minister Bheki Cele says 25 people have been arrested for ongoing attacks on truck drivers. The road's freight industry has been rocked by violent assaults, prompting an inter-ministerial committee to look into the unrest. This week, 2 truck drivers were held up at gunpoint on the N12 Highway in Gauteng before their vehicles were set alight. These are among 30 attacks reported countrywide in the past week. For more on these arrests and who may be responsible, I'm joined now by Police Ministry spokesperson Lirandzu Themba. A very good evening to you and thank you so much for speaking to us, Ms. Themba. So, any more details on what happened on the N12 early on today?
Good evening to you, SABC, and good evening to your listeners. As we know that the country has really been battling with regards to these attacks on trucks. We know that there are hotspots, several hotspots in the Eastern Cape and the Free State, the Gauteng province being severely hit. In fact, that's our biggest hotspot, as well as KZN. We know that the N3, the N1, as well as the N12 that you mentioned, are some of the areas where we've seen the attacks on trucks. But I'm also just happy to announce, so that there has been progress made in terms of breakthrough. The police, South African Police Services managed to arrest 25 people just this month alone. 20 of these arrests took place in Gauteng and 5 took place in KZN.
Okay. We'll talk about that in just a moment. I just want to ensure that there were earlier reports suggesting that there were no casualties earlier on. Is this still the case?
That is the information that I do receive from the province.
Okay. So the breakthroughs, they are in relation to the attacks that we've seen in the past week. I gave a number. What is the latest in terms of the number of trucks burnt in the past week?
Well, from November, we had to give you a fuller picture so that your viewers can understand. From the start of the month, we have seen trucks, 32 trucks that were burnt, 24 that were burnt in Gauteng, 3 were burnt in the Mpumalanga province, and 5 were burnt in Free State, and the other provinces reporting 1 each. And just to give you even a broader context, so from April to November, we've seen 71 such incidents of trucks being burnt. We've seen about 7 trucks being thrown with stones, pelted with stones, and of course 11 of these trucks were shot at. Now, in the same month that I'm talking about, we've had about 52 arrests. And just this month, we've had 25 arrests, 20 of which, as I've mentioned, took place in Gauteng and 5 took place in KZN.
Of those 25, are there individuals who know each other? Is this a coordinated and organized structure? And what motive has there been? Because we know that there's been anti-foreigner sentiment, but at the same time, there has been criminalities, trucks who have simply been hijacked and it being orchestrated to make it seem like it's part of this.
Well, we know that one case was before the court this past Monday, where it involved about 9 suspects. And we know that on the 2nd and the 4th, there will be more suspects appearing. And of course, it is through those court processes where the picture will be much clearer for all of us as to the involvement of these suspects. But we do believe that the reason why they have been nabbed, so that they do have a case to answer to. We are charging them with malicious damage to property, arson, and in one of the instances, we're also putting a attempted murder charge there.
I need to ask this question because some of these truck drivers have, for a very long time, even expressed it to their employers. They've said it publicly that they are very afraid. They know they're being targeted. In fact, they've received threats. Why are police not escorting potential targets?
So what is happening now with regards to the deployment plan that has been activated is to ensure that there is that such deployment that you're talking about. And we're already seeing the fruits, so because just in the last 24 hours, we haven't had major incidents, if I had to put it that way. But we are trying to get all these hotspots and all these national routes to be, painted blue, essentially, with marked vehicles, that are going to be patrolling. But also, we know we also have our detectives that are going to be hard at work and have to be hard at work, essentially, to make sure that they prevent such attacks. And, of course, when it comes to just the patrolling or the increased visibility, we're rolling out roadblocks on major routes, as I've indicated, but also roadblocks and high visibility at weighbridges, at stopovers and, toll gates, where trucks are likely also to be targeted. So that is something that is happening. And as I've said, we are seeing the results really, coming up right now.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Police Ministry spokesperson Lirandzu Themba. Now, on to stories about Black Friday. COVID-19 has kept many shops